Well, hey, welcome back to Working Class Customs YouTube channel, and welcome to Podium Club at Atessa. Sorry about the wind. If the rug comes up and covers me, we'll pause the video, but I apologize in advance for that and any wind noise there might be in the mics. Then another desert was so windy. But yeah, anyway, we're out here at Podium Club. We're gonna do a track review here, so keep an eye out for that. Be looking for that and go check it out. It could come out before this, so if it is, the link will be up here. Beyond that, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you're not new to the channel, thanks for being here. Either way, throw a like on this video, throw some comments down below, because we are back once again with our 2019 Aprilia RSV4 1100 factory. It is a mouthful, but we got our redemption in today. Everything went great. Thanks to a lot of your guys' comments and advice. We got rid of the terrible non-sport tire Metzlers, non-sticky rubber, if you will, and put on some fresh Dunlops. I didn't have Pirellis on hand, so to those of you that were telling me to go for Pirellis, sorry, didn't do Pirellis, but we did get some Dunlop. I think I'm actually running a Q5 in the rear and a Q4 up front for your awareness. Real quick, just to go over the bike, if you haven't noticed already or haven't seen, there are a couple other videos on the channel, so you can go check those out. A little bit of track review before, a couple of things I didn't like about the bike, putting the exhaust on, but I'll just go over a couple things right now. So it's not completely stock. You have CRG levers, you got Italian Litec rear sets on there, the race fit exhaust, and then it's re-geared. Down one in the front, up one in the back with the 520 chain conversion. So those are kind of the things that have been done to the bike. Besides that, it's got some, it's had the suspension adjusted for me, and it was tuned at one point, not for this exhaust, for a different exhaust. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, so this review is gonna be kind of interesting because I spend a lot of my time on the racetrack on a Gixxer 750. If you've been around the channel, you should kind of have an idea of that or know that already. But I wanna say about 6 months ago, I took this out to Atlanta Motorsports Park, which is not a small bike track. Or sorry, not a big bike track, definitely a small bike track. Come to find out there is kind of a difference. I put it down. I was going out, I was about 3 or 4 laps in and was in a slight left-hand turn, and I laid it down. It was a low side. So I was kind of like mixed emotions, mixed feeling on the bike. I was like, you know, it had its strong points, but if I put it down after just 3 laps, like either I'm terrible or there's something wrong with the bike. I couldn't figure out what it was because it felt super off, super weird. You guys in the comments and everything else I could figure, all I could figure was that the tires were messed up. And then today, we've done 3 sessions on it. Cole did a session on it. With these Dunlops, it's perfectly fine. I'm kind of moving towards putting slicks on it and starting to race it. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the bike. So we'll go over a couple little weak points real quick, things that I'm not super keen on. And then we'll start talking about the better part of the video, which is the stuff that I like. But the weak points are kind of hard to hit because I'm super excited with this bike. I enjoyed it a lot, super fulfilling out there. I will say, compared to ride, I'm gonna compare this a lot to the 750 because that's, like I said, that's what I'm used to. 750 is a small bike, right? Handles like a 600, it's lightweight like a 600. This thing out on the street kind of feels, you can whip it back and forth a little bit, but I'll say after doing lap after lap after lap, a big bike, it gets heavy. And it definitely takes more input to get it to turn, to get it to switch directions and all of that, which is to be expected for a big bike. It's a leader bike, that's how they are. Of the leader bikes I've ridden, it is on the agile side, so I'll give it that. It's not super hard, but I could just tell after a few laps it was definitely kind of making me tired. And it is at the end. We just got done to a track, like doing a full day yesterday, half day today, and then I started riding this, so there's a little bit of that kind of just natural wear and tear on myself. But my favorite part about this bike, besides just it looks great, it sounds great, the sound out there is amazing, but my favorite part is that it's my favorite and my least favorite at the same time. You can be so lazy on these things because the V4 just makes up for whatever you're lacking. The V4 has it for you. You come out of a corner, you took the corner way too slow or whatever it might be, or you're in the wrong gear, you grab that throttle and go, and she's gonna go, right? And it is insane, the amount of power and just how it doesn't matter where you are. You stab it, it goes, and it will go and go. On the opposite side of that though, most of the time when you have a bike that has power down below and mid-range, at the top, especially like a V style bike, it's not gonna rev as high, but this thing revs out to 14,500 RPM, and it gives you that full power the entire freaking time. I'll tell you that Podium Club here has a pretty long straight. I got it up into 6th gear multiple times, usually just 5th, because when you look down and see 150, 160 miles an hour and you know you're about to crest the hill and come down into a pretty hard left, I'd kind of just leave it in fifth for my own comfort. But that gets me into the things that I don't like about it, which is actually kind of all stuff that's adjustable. But I was running the ABS at its top level today because I haven't been on the track with it besides that one day on the wreck. So I said, we'll start at the top and we'll kind of work our way down with the electronics. And the ABS will probably be the first thing that I'm just gonna turn completely off because I can definitely feel it. That being said, the brakes are strong. The brakes are good. They hold. It's got these sweet little freaking air ducts. They're supposed to reduce brake fade by 30%. Anyway, but it makes for good brakes. Brakes are really good. Brembo's, it brakes great. That's all I'm trying to say. However, you start braking really hard, and even at only a 3 on your, which is the highest, but at the highest ABS, it starts to feel it. And you come down braking really hard and you feel it start to kind of almost chatter. And then Cole had it down on 1 on the ABS, and he said he was feeling it too. So you kind of, once again, sorry about the rug. It is windy. Basically just need the ABS off. The traction control, I was running at a level 5. The nice thing about traction control and wheelie control is you can adjust those on the go, right? There's 2 big buttons. You can take a look at them, the buttons for the traction control and the buttons for the wheelie control, but you can adjust those on the fly while you're out riding. Your cruise control button turns into your wheelie control. You have to go in and set that up before you start, but that's really nice because if you're out there and you're like, man, this traction control is limiting me too much or not enough, you can add some, you can take some away, whatever you need to do. The adjustability on the fly is really nice. You cannot adjust ABS on the fly, but you can adjust rider modes, which there are 3. You can adjust wheelie control, 3 levels, and you can adjust traction control, which has, I think, 8 or 10 levels. Had the wheelie control in 1, which is the lowest setting, and it was picking up front wheel up, no issues. Anywhere you want to, you really stab it, it'll pick it up. But it's nice, it doesn't fling it up on you. It kind of gives you a controlled pickup and then a nice set down again. I don't know what other negatives to put in here besides the electronics can be overbearing if you don't kick them off. If you take them all off all the way down, this thing is just pure, raw, insane. Some cool features. It's got the traction control multi-level. It's got wheelie control multi-level, ABS multi-level, the 3 rider modes. And then it's got launch control, also multi-level. So how hard you want your launch control to hit. I haven't tested it yet. Let me know in the comments if you want me to, and then maybe we'll go find a spot that we can. No promises, but throw that down in the comments. It's something else. After being on the Gixxer, so I rode the Gixxer this morning, and I rode this, then I went back to the Gixxer actually, and I realized like, with a bike like this, you can be as lazy as you want. It is insane the amount of just, no matter where you are, what gear you are, you've got power, it's there, you just pull it and you'll go. And it's a freaking rocket ship, right? Like I said, we are re-geared, 520 conversion, the exhaust, a couple other things. So that's a little bit of it, and I don't weigh anything, so that helps also. But there were some points where on other bike, be sitting there and it's not quite worth downshifting, but you come out of a corner and you're like, man, I should have downshifted, or well, we'll just kind of ring it for a little bit, and eventually it gets there, right? This thing doesn't have any of that. There's just no, as long as you're over 3,000, which if you're not idling around, you're over 3,000, you're good. You're good to go. It makes it, I'm pretty sure, I'll try and find a dyno chart for it, but I'm pretty sure it comes out to peak torque at 3,000 and just straight lines all the way across. So here's the sheet. If I'm wrong, but we'll have that. And the handling really is not, like I said, I put this down 6 months ago at a track and I was so confused. The only complaint I have on the handling side, I don't know if that's tire pressure or suspension. I mentioned this in my last review video. It's still there a little bit, not as bad, but definitely still there. And this is a lot newer track, so you can feel every bump on this bike. You can 100% feel every bump. It's there. I've had the suspension adjusted. The suspension is kind of supposed to be like a 50-50 street track adjustment. So if anything, it should be softer than a pure track bike suspension adjustment would be. And I can feel bumps out there more than I could on the old Gixxer. Now, the Gixxer's old, the suspension's old, it's on slicks, all of those things, I got that. But you can feel everything. Now, today, I don't know if that was such a bad thing. It's a little kind of personal, in my opinion. Some people really like that feedback, being able to feel every single bump, every single everything. For me, it's a little distracting because I want just pure confidence. I want to feel smooth, and I want to be able to just take a turn or whatever I'm doing and just take it, not have any bumps or any cracks or any weird unsmoothness in the riding, I'm gonna feel more confident that way. So for me, it's kind of a negative towards the bike. If it's just a bike thing, then that would go towards the bike. If it's something else I have on there, all right, I'll give it to it. But this is the 1100, 1078 cc's, not as refined as the newer model that started in 2021, but I have zero complaints on the power side, zero complaints on the noise side. We'll start it here for you guys in a second and get you a nice little noise clip. It is just a thing of beauty. Italy knows what they're doing. On this side of the house, we're not sure about Ducati yet, but on this side of the house, they definitely know what they're doing. And I have to say for Aprilia, a huge thumbs up. They've been doing the V4 forever. Right, the RSV4 is such an old bike. It's been going for so long, hasn't really changed, and it's awesome. So other quick little upticks on the bike. If you've seen other reviews or whatever, you guys have already seen this, but I like to point it out. And we'll get you a closer look, but it is the most adjustable bike on the market for the general public. You can move the swing arm up and down, and then the engine up and down, and then there's one more pivot point. I think it's behind this fairing. Anyway, we'll show you guys in a second. I think it's easier to see on the other side. But you can move all that up and down. As far as aftermarket, those Litec rear sets are sweet. They're super adjustable. They're also a little expensive, so they kind of came on the bike. CRG levers, we love our CRG levers. We got those everywhere. And then huge shout out to Dunlop. I have yet to try Pirellis. You guys keep telling us to try Pirellis. You're voting for Pirellis, so eventually we're gonna swap over and do some Pirellis. I think, don't tell Cole, we're actually just a little afraid that the Pirellis will actually be better, and then we have to figure out what to do with all our Dunlop swag. So for now, we'll stick with the Dunlops, but if I get a chance, I'll throw some Pirellis on. If you haven't ridden one of these and you get a chance, go do it. It's phenomenal. Just realize that you might end up getting a little lazy out on the bike, and you can do that on these things. And that's an uptick to them. A bike that makes you feel like you can ride lazy is what you want, and it is a leader bike. So unless you're racing and you're racing people that are real good, that's generally what happens at track days is dudes on leader bikes, they can ride a lot more lazy because, especially in your lower groups, your A group riders, I'll give it to you, you guys usually race anyway, so you're good, but your B and C group, the leader bikes hit that straight and they're gone. And for the 600 guys, it's like, man, I know I can outride you, but every time I come up to anywhere that's straight, you're just gone. This bike is definitely one of those options that will get you that power. So we'll get you guys a quick exhaust note. Let me know what you think, what else you want to see, and let me know, might convert it over to a race bike. I know after the wreck, you guys were talking about telling me to do that. We had the repair video. We're showing you this side for a reason. I'll be honest, the other side is still a little interesting looking, but let me know what you think. Possibly convert it over to a track bike and just let her rip.